Hey guys, today I'm going to walk you through the process of setting up a very simple marketing website. Most of the time when you start a new company or a new brand, new project, the very first thing you need is a website. It doesn't always need to be that complicated. So um, the platform that I recommend, especially for people who have no coding experience at all, is Weebly. There's a bunch of click and drag stuff out there. There's Wix, Squarespace. You can even use WordPress if you wanted. They're all pretty much the same. I use Weebly just because it's a little bit easier to work with. Once you're in the system, so obviously I have an account created. You can go through the process of signing up. Not a lot of surprises there, so I kind of skipped that part. Once you go to start a new website, it's going to ask you if you sell stuff or not. If you do e-commerce, this is a rock solid platform for that. It gives you a whole ton of themes right off the bat. Honestly, I'm probably going to be deleting most of the template that it gives you because I kind of have something in mind for what I want to do. But either way, let's start with this one real quick. Okay, so right off the bat, it's going to ask you if you want to start with one of their like yourwebsite.weebly.com kind of domains, or if you already have your own .com. So I already have a domain registered for this project. We're going to be building a really quick website for my brother-in-law's handyman company in Cape Cod. So he just went out on his own. He has zero marketing, doesn't have any brand or anything. So I got him a .com, found some stock photos, and we're gonna put a website together for him. So you'll notice right when you get in here, you can pretty much click and drag and move stuff around. It's really easy to work with. I'm just gonna change the title and then I'm gonna delete a whole bunch of stuff because all he really needs is basically just one page. So if I click on the pages, I can jump in here and I can immediately start removing all of the pages we're not going to use. Now, it's super easy to add these things back on later. That's why I don't feel too committed to any of the stuff that it gives you out of the box. Okay. Personally, I think that the header they made is a little bit big, so we're going to continue the theme of deleting stuff. We're going to shrink this down a little bit. And one of the things I like, especially for new projects, most people just want to get on there and then try and get a hold of you. So I think we can kind of condense it down instead of having a ton of content, especially because he doesn't have photos of his work yet. We can pretty much just hit the visitor with the name of the company, maybe a little tagline, a form, and a picture. And I think that should cover most of what he's going to need. If I go to the build tab on the left, we have the contact form, which I can just drop in here. And I'm going to delete this guy, delete this guy. So it gives you a name field off the bat, which has two inputs. Personally, I think it looks dumb because it's kind of like it hangs over a little bit. So we're actually going to delete this input as well. We're going to replace it with just a really simple single field input, short text box. Whenever you're building a contact form, you really want to grab their name, email, and phone number. The reason you want to do that is because over the course of you having a relationship with this client, you're probably going to want to bug them repeatedly with marketing and obviously in the course of customer service. And again, just personal preference, I like to get rid of the comment box because the best thing that you can do from a sales perspective is get them on the phone and find out exactly why they reached out to you. Once we get this, I'm gonna scroll back up. Let's see. So one of the things that I like to use is a free plugin called Content Color Box. And basically this just lets you stick a little bit of color behind your sections of text. You'll see what I mean in a second. So it's really handy for sections where you have text over a photo because it doesn't always, maintain its readability. So back on the home page, I'm going to drop one of these color boxes in here. And I'm going to move my text in here. And now you can see it's starting to come together a little bit. So I'm actually going to fiddle with my colors. This is obviously something that you can fit to your own liking. And personally, I think a nice dark gray would look really good over this. So I'm going to change this from and other products to, or other projects, and so much to, and so much more. Like I said, you can come back and change these little headline things so easily. It's not really something to get hung up on. So you want to tell the user why they're submitting their contact information. Usually it's something to the effect of, submit today and get your free estimate. So let's see. And I'm just going to go through, and I have a couple more stock photos. I'm just going to drop in a couple of things that I think will look nice. Replace him with some wood floors. Okay, and then just on a personal note, I like to change the buttons of the text to go from submit, which I feel is a little bit vague. I like to reaffirm what we're doing with the call to action. So let's see, request a free estimate. Say, get my free estimate. Okay, I'm gonna save that. And like I was saying before, most of the page, along with most of the other pages, I'm just gonna go through and actually delete it. The reason I'm gonna do that is because it's so easy to add stuff back on later. But once we get the real basics of this website set up, we can go ahead and launch it and we can get to work on other stuff. So like I was saying before, I already have a domain, so we're gonna use, let's see. It's capecodhc.com. And at this point, they're gonna ask me to actually purchase a plan. So it's actually, it's pretty reasonable, $4 a month, I think. Here we go. Yeah, $4 a month. Or if you want to do what I'm going to do, you can do it for $7.33 a month. Really can't beat that for a custom website you made in 13 minutes. So one thing to keep in mind, once you have your paid account and you have your .com, now you have to wire them together. And this is kind of a sticking point that a lot of people run into. So I'm just going to cover it really quick. So you can go into settings. We're going to set the site address to www.capecodhc.com. And what it's going to give us is DNS records. So your website, when you register your website, you have basically a list of all of the different places that your .com, points. So you have your mail server and you have your web server. This is how to set up your web server. So all I'm going to do is copy the IP address into my DNS record. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get stuck on this. So I'm going to create a whole other video just about registering your domain and setting up DNS records. So while we're on the settings page, a couple of the things that I want to cover. It's in your best interest to use SSL, and Google will actually rank you less high if you don't have SSL. A lot of people think that you only need it if you're processing credit cards, and that's kind of true, but it's still worth going through the trouble of setting it up. Now, in order for it to show up, you actually have to go up to the corner and you have to hit the publish button. Okay, so once your website is published, you may notice a little red error box that may or may not actually be important. We can test this by going to your .com, going to your website, and seeing if the settings took. I just tested mine and it looks like it did. Okay, so now that the website's up, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll notice that it still has that Powered by Weebly footer. This isn't gonna affect anything having to do with your website. Most of your clients won't even really notice. One thing I wanna mention, just a matter of personal preference, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna change it just to say something a little bit more relevant. Great, and with that new footer, we're pretty much done with our website. It's simple, yeah, there's not a lot going on, but if anybody came here, it would at least look like you kind of knew what you were doing, or at least that you were a real business. Obviously, as you add more content and stuff, that's when you can start getting into like SEO and doing some marketing, but that's a little bit outside of the scope of this video. But yeah, so we're about 15 minutes in and you have a brand new website. Not too bad. If you like this video, go ahead and comment, share, tag a friend that you think might benefit from it. Be a really big help for my channel. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.